Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I am back, and it is time for another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 Probots match. 1 versus 1 AI match. We have got ourselves two bots that are going to go at it, and another bot author recommended game, so you know it's going to be a good one. We're really spoiled that all these creators of bots say, this game was awesome, check it out, and I appreciate it very much. And so, we've cast a few of its games lately. It is Xena. And I've also cast this bot too. It's ANIbot. And so, a TVZ, more importantly a bot versus bot match for today though. And so, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, before we get too far into this TVZ, bot v bot, go ahead, take a look at that like button, and take a look at that like bar for a second, and go on, see how many likes there are, then add one more. It's greatly appreciated. While you're at it, leave a comment down below saying more bots if you enjoy these games. I'm just sipping my morning coffee while I get to watch these two bots try and get victory over one another. And then, of course, join the Discord if you haven't. Consider becoming a YouTube member using the join button. That's the best way to support the channel. Aiming for 10 members, and we're actually pretty close to that. So let's take a look here. We've got ANIbot going for a base. We've got Xenabot going for two bases. So standard Terran versus Zerg. Orbital command on the way. A single Marine with another Marine friend on the way, so he won't be alone for too long, which is always good for a Marine. Usually, if you're an alone Marine, you're the one that's scouting, and that's not a good thing. Okay, so let's see. This Overlord's crossing the map. Let's see if ANIbot is gonna hunt this down or not. It really is just flying right in towards the Terran's natural. There's two Marines. Is this Overlord gonna change course? No. So Xenabot says, I want to see if there's a natural base or not. I wonder if that's some of its built-in scouting behavior or not, just to say, find out if there's a natural and base the plan off that. We see ANIbot saying, building a factory for priority tank. We also had a little bit of chat early on. Zerg build, 3 hatch. Xena telling us what build it's going for. ANIbot saying artificial no intelligence. Xenabot saying prepare to die. And ANIbot saying a 2-base tank push. So this should be an interesting one. On the map, Golden Aura, definitely a good map for those tank pushes. In a Freaka World on Saturday night, we had a few of those. And so let's see. This factory's on the way. Second and third barracks on the way, so definitely a 2-basing Terran. And these two bots are still just doing their thing. Lots of queens on the way for the Zerg. And it's all going to be the question of whether Xena is going to be prepared for this, because ANIbot is definitely going to be building towards this. We'll see if Xenabot's going to go for roaches, for lings, for banelings to defend this, and how well ANIbot will execute any potential attack. Okay. There's that roach warren going on up. So that's a good sign. Roach warren around 36 drones. It's usually around where Zerg wants to be in order to hold an attack. If you're a Zerg and you go for your roach warren at like 50 drones or 45 or something, you are living on the edge. ANIbot saying stop gas production, interestingly enough. So gonna just be making Marines, and then that's it, I guess. Yeah, just making Marines now that it's stopped mining gas, which is very interesting. The fact that it said stop gas production while it's got 3 refineries. I feel that this build could probably be done with 2 refineries, but what do I know anyway? Maybe it just wants minerals for a little bit. Yeah, saying continue gas production now. So I wonder what the decision is there. How the bot author measured that out or what. Anyway, Stimpak is on the way. Starport on the way, so Medivacs can be produced. And the game is just continuing on. Now, no harassment from the Terran early on, so this Zerg is just droning away quite happily, making a few roaches, making lots of drones, though almost at 60. So ANIbot is definitely going to need to get some work done. Pardon me, I didn't have the music on for this one. But we got that going now. It's one of those Starcraft things, like, you know, you want to listen to some music while you're playing, but you don't want to have the Starcraft music, so I turn it off. Then the game doesn't always remember if you turn it off or turn it back on. Anyway, woe is me. But yeah, let's take a look here. Lots of roaches starting to be pumped out, and if you're a Zerg and you're on 60 drones against a 2-basing Terran, you're pretty much happy just to pump units all day. Now, it's all going to depend on how the attack works. For all we know, Xena will take a terrible engagement. For all we know, ANIbot will take a terrible engagement. We do see these roaches crossing the map, so we could potentially actually see an overextension or an attack for Xenabot. I get the feeling it'll just poke and then go out, but I don't know. These bots can be more unpredictable than humans. We've also got tunneling claws on the way, so it's really committing to that roach style with his 2 on upgrades on the way. Those roaches just instantly burrowed. Xena saying nope, and those roaches I think are trapped until they try and escape. Now, we're already seeing there's going to need to be some detection for ANIbot. There's a scan, going to catch 1 or 2 of the roaches, but it was only, I mean, 7 roaches is a decent amount. But it did keep ANIbot back a little bit, and I'm not too worried here for Xenabot. I mean, it's got an upgrade advantage, it's got a higher supply, and Xenabot has got to push over a lot of creep to get over here. Then, of course, the burrow micro too. We need to see things to counter that. This one Marauder runs on in, starts popping roaches point blank while there's a skirmish as some of the units are crossing the map. Other units are all over the place. Look at those attack markers. It's a total surround plan by Xena. That is so cool. It literally had like a circle planted around ANIbot's units. However, unfortunately, those roaches burrowing removes a lot of their DPS. So while they don't necessarily all die, they don't trade out too good. However, they are burning through a lot of the HP on ANIbot. Resources loss definitely in favor for the Terran. However, 10 Marines, 3 Marauders to 23 Roaches. Xenabot saying, ow, 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 going on home. ANIbot is building a command center, seemingly in the one place that it can, not its third base, in the bottom left side, while also pushing on in still. Scans going down, preventing these Roaches from surviving with their cloak. Creep is getting cleaned up a little bit, but not perfectly. Those scans definitely kill the Roaches. Cyclones locking onto the Roaches too. Magfield Accelerator being researched. Yes, these bot games are played on an older patch. Look at that. Look at that Roach Concave though. That is just crazy. In come these Roaches, Queens engaging, but so far it looks like ANIbot is getting some pretty good trades. Like, if Xena is just not killing that many of the Terran's units, it would seem, compared to what it's losing. Now, the tank in the back is definitely doing a lot of work. These Roaches burrowing do stay alive a little bit longer. They can burrow under the Terran army. We see scanning burrowed Roach forcing all these Roaches to pop on out. And that is another thing that's so sick. Xena realizes when it's being scanned, pops the Roaches up, because of course it doesn't make sense to stay burrowed, but the fact that the bot author programmed that in is incredible. Now, that attack did not get what ANIbot needed done. The creep spread is just ridiculous here for Xena. The supply is looking a little bit better for the Terran, but if we take a look at the upgrades too, that's actually a big deal. There's 2-1 for the Zerg, so the damage output is actually going to be really good against this Terran bio. We see these Marines getting shredded. Now there's Hydras out, Infestors on the way. I'm a little bit concerned for ANIbot. There's the few Cyclones. They can get some lock-ons. I mean, but the tanks are now getting caught. The Zerg is just diving right on top. This might be a bit of an overcommitment. A lot of move command. Those Hydras derping out a little bit. I guess just trying to get to safety, but those Cyclones will ensure they are never safe again. SCV is now transitioning to the random bottom left gold base. Then ANIbot decided to take that. We'll give it a good economic boost. 3 bases to 2, but one of them's got a gold base. I would love to see some engineering bay upgrades start for ANIbot, and we do actually have an eBay that just finished up. However, it goes for high-sec auto-tracking. Oh no! I mean, that's not really what we want to see, if we're being frank, I feel. We got a turret going up. I'm not sure what... yeah, that's building just at the natural. That will be some anti-roach. High-sec auto-tracking will benefit turrets and PFs potentially, but there's no PFs to speak of, and there's no air units, really. So, yeah, that's a little bit questionable. 2-2 is going to finish up for Xenabot 2. These roaches and hydras are just going to be so strong. It's really all going to be on the tanks and cyclones to get the damage done. We see initiating tactical response, but once again, Xenabot does get caught out a little bit. Loses Overseer's roaches. It does, however, have creep all over the place. Scan goes down, cleaned up some of those tumors. That's good to see, but I feel that's a losing battle trying to clean up creep with a limited number of scans against a bot with unlimited APM to spread said creep. Now, it's equal supply, but down on upgrades. A Thor's on the way, so that's pretty cool. What a great game between these two bots. And yeah, there is +1 attack on the way now that high-sec auto-tracking finished up, I guess. So that's good to see at least. ANIbot getting up a 4th base. The bottom left base is just uncontested. It's one of those AI things. A human player would realize this and send, like, a Ling or a Roach over, so Terran would never really take this base. However, that's just not the case here for... That's just not the case here for these bots. I mean, they've got incredible control, incredible... I'm trying to think of the word. It's not intelligence. They're very detailed, and they know what to do. They have a lot of countermeasures to each other. Now let's see this Zerg pushing on in. The tanks were a little late to the siege, but there is still enough Terran to push us away. Xena saying, "You look busy, I'll come back later," after what was an okay trade, but not an amazing one, I don't think. Yeah, what an attack by Xena. Definitely not taking the best trades as the Zerg. It's about 3-to-1 cost efficiency for the Terran bot. Vikings even on the ground is an interesting phenomenon. There's still a few Cyclones out, tanks being produced. ANIbot doing a really good job keeping its army together, not letting Xenabot get good engagements. There is Fungals out for Xena, and that's incredible too, the fact that there's Infestors that burrow and unburrow. A little bit of derpage there, however, unfortunately. But to be a bot author who programs a bot to be like, oh yeah, I want my bot to use Infestors, how do you even begin to approach that problem? It's like, okay, so I gotta program the bot to make an army composition to sometime add in Infestors. Oh, right, I gotta like manage the supply and everything. I gotta manage the resource cost. I gotta teach it where to put the Infestors in the army, when to use the spells, that sort of thing. It's just a nightmare. If you're not a program, even if you are a programmer, it must be a nightmare. So my hat's off to Xena for putting in the work to do that. More roaches going down though, however, it is just big feed city, unfortunately. In come some Lings towards the natural base. Good response as they're being chased around. And it looks like they will be cleaned up now. It is really keeping the Red Terran busy. And the Red Terran does have less bases than the Zerg. I believe Xena attempted to take this base momentarily too. A Raven's on the way as well for ANIbot. That will really help out when it comes to creep cleanup. We'll see where that's going to go. It's going to go to this base, so I wonder if that's to get rid of these tumors so it can plant a base there. There we go. Yeah, look at how good these bots are. It drops the turret, brings over a handful of Marines to clean up that creep. Like, I was wondering, like, is the creep ever really going to be dealt with if the game goes on long enough? Like, early game it doesn't really because there's only so many resources, but I mean, so far it's just incredible. The depth and back and forth these two bots have. Now, Xena trying to take this base. You may as well try. If you don't try, you'll never succeed. ANIbot saying, all right, I'll take this base since the creep's cleared from there. Where's that Raven too? I know that you guys are probably like, why there's potentially a fight happening in the middle. Why is he looking at the Raven? I mean, the fights are entertaining, but the decision making that the bot authors have put in are incredible. Still, though, it is looking a little bit rough here for Xenabot. There's some more units down to the bottom, but it seems it does just have less supply here. It does have more workers. It's got lots of queens in supply. 3-3 is on the way for the Zerg, so the units will be getting better, but the trades just are still pretty darn good. About 4-to-1 now. Almost 4-to-1. Base being attempted here. Tank dealing with some roaches. The creep clearing crew. Say that 3 times fast, I dare ya. Couple of Thors overextending. That's unfortunate. Big pickup for Xena. That will help equal out the resources lost. We do have weapon refit on the way now for ANIbot. A couple of battle cruisers saying brewing Yamato juice. I love it when bot authors put in tags like that. As a commentator, it makes my life a lot easier, because then I'll remember to look at the production tab. Upgrades are still going for both of these bots. Xena does have the 3-3 now, so that'll help it out, but its army grouping, it's just engagements just are not as committal as they could be. The burrow definitely works to some extent, but at the same time it removes a lot of DPS and tanking from the army. So I'm not sure if it's just the composition or why Xena's having a hard time. We do need to see some good fungals. The infestors are unburrowing, but yeah, it's just bleeding off units left, right, and center. The tanks are real good too. Not too many countermeasures for those. We see Xena trying to take this base here. And this game can go on longer. I mean, both bots still have a pretty solid economy. A good fungal must have landed there. A lot of Red Marines and Marauders. We'll see if there's going to be a follow-up or not, but this is what I mean. The Zerg kind of sitting on the border of engagement or not. Still eats a lot of damage. Now, it is still maxed out supply for both of these bots, but I believe where are the infestors? There's another fungal going out. Decent connection, not amazing, kills off some Marines, but yeah, it's still just a little bit rough here. ANIbot really building up a lot of supply. The harassment could have been desired by Xenabot, potentially. Maybe that's what it needs a little bit more of. For example, if it had the wherewithal to sense this gold base, to harass this base even, 1 or 2 roaches. It's a lot of work to program, but might pay off dividends if Xenabot runs into games like this a lot in the future. BC is now poking. I just don't really see an answer for this. There isn't even a Spire out, so Hydras are the only answer. They got +3, but it takes a certain amount of Hydra grouping and infestor usage that I'm not sure the bot's going to have. Yeah, just Xena having a bit of a rough go, losing supply, now losing bases. All these drones in the bottom left going to be in trouble. Okay. Thor still doing its thing. Just killing off these drones. It's a poor drone massacre. This base now under fire and going down. It looks like we have our winner, ladies and gentlemen. Xena base's last base might be the one it's got at the 3rd base of ANIbot. Creep is still all over the place, but incredible play by both these bots. I'll definitely cast a rematch between them, and it was a really great game. Hit that like button if you haven't already, ladies and gentlemen. Man, my PC is lagging with this one. Join the Discord if you haven't already. Consider becoming a YouTube member. Subscribe. Hit that bell icon. Get notified whenever a new video goes up. And yeah, let's see here. Ship weapons on the way. All the upgrades still going up. But that's going to be the swan song. Yeah, I closed a background application. I had another game running, but it's not too resource intensive. Definitely didn't make a difference on the performance. It must just be all the creep tumors. Yeah, a lot of creep tumors. What's the APM right now? 50k, 80k. Makes sense. My PC's lagging a little bit. As cleanup, it still requires a lot of APM. And that base goes down there. Base in the top right, still mining. Might be a bit before Xena gets taken out here. Still making whatever it can. Still making some drones, some queens, some overlords. There's that base in the top right getting found. And that's going to be it. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for tuning in.